What's up, YouTube? We back with another review. Today we're going to be reviewing Gachaikuta episode 20. Let's get it. And as we hop back into the anime, it goes back to the battle between Dear Santa, Bro, and Bundus. And as the trash beast starts to move and go towards the spear, Bundus says, "Hey, let's get this over with quick." Bro then responds by grabbing his vital instrument. He grabs Dear and he throws him towards the wall. And after punching the wall, Dear finally breaks through with his ability Drain. And after making a hole, Bro sees that they only penetrated through one level of the trash beast. Bro sees this and he tells Dear, by using your Drain ability on such a large opponent like the trash beast, you'll get stronger and stronger and eventually crack the outer wall. After the motivation, Bundus then pops up and he's like, "Hold on, y'all ain't finna do nothing." He then sparks up his vital instrument, Hands. And by using these huge claw-like hands, he unties himself from Bro's vital instrument. He then tells him he's going to defeat him and get his prize afterwards. But this would have to wait, because what happens next is insane. The ground starts to shake. They're all thrown off balance and they're falling towards the floor quickly. But this wouldn't be a storm or an earthquake. It's actually the trash beast moving towards the spear. Bundus then tells the two of them, he says, "Before we get to the border and we'll see who dies and lives, first I have to defeat you." And as he's saying these words, Bro realizes Dear has gotten away from him. He's gone. And after a short panic, Bro tracks him down with his vital instrument and brings him back. Bro then tells Dear, "Don't panic, don't worry, we'll get out of this situation." Bundus sees him and he says, "Wait, y'all ain't doing nothing, I'll stop you." And as he pursues them and tracks them down, the most insane thing happens. The trash beast that they're riding on starts to move. And when it does, it causes them all to flip upside down and lose their balance. And as they're flying towards the ground, the most hilarious thing happens. A car actually comes tumbling down on them. All three of them are shocked. They're surprised. But crazy enough, this is only the beginning, because the car that they fell into is actually going down the trash beast at an uncontrollable rate. They all panic. It's looking bad. And as Bro and Bundus hilariously fight for the wheel of the car, it's no use because they can't control it. The car is flipping, twisting, and turning, and it looked like it can't be stopped from crashing. But as this crazy scene continues, the car is more and more uncontrollable, and it looks as if they won't be able to stop it. But suddenly, out of nowhere, as they're flying down the trash beast, Bundus spots a pole. He then tells Bro to go towards the pole. And just like that, Bro whips out his vital instrument, wraps around the pole, and they finally get the car to stop. But the craziest thing happened. As they land, they spot Enjin. They're both surprised. And after the awkward reunion with each other, Enjin says, "Wait, why are you riding with a raider?" And as Enjin's talking, the raider Bundus then spots his raider comrade Fu on the ground. He asks him, he says, "Hey, Fu, why haven't you defeated your opponent?" Fu then replies, he says, "I tried everything, but he just wouldn't attack me." And as he lays helplessly on the ground crying, he tells Enjin, "Fight me, man, just fight me, please." Enjin trolls him and says, "Nah, I'm good." Moving forth a little bit, Bro says, "Hey, Enjin, we have to hurry up and get out of this trash beast. If we cross the border, we're gonna die." He starts to panic and says, "Come on, we have to find the rest of our comrades, quick." And as Enjin's listening in, he starts to have a flashback of Rudo saying, "I gotta make it back to the spear." He then thinks, he says, "Wait, we can use this trash beast to get Rudo back to the spear." And just as he's thinking, suddenly, the cleaner's choker starts to ring. And it's the receptionist at the cleaner's headquarters, Simiyu. She's relieved that she got through to them, and she starts to ask them what's their current situation. Enjin tells her everything that's going on, and after she hilariously chastises him about losing the rest of the cleaners, Simiyu then asks him about the choker situation. She says, "How can I connect to y'all, but y'all are underground?" Enjin says, "I don't know. I just suspected that we was all underground." And as he's talking, he freezes, and he looks at the raider Bundus. From what it looks like, it seems like Enjin thinks something's up with him. You can tell there's something strange about to happen. Soon after Simiyu gives him more information, she says that she can't connect to Zonka or Rio. Enjin then responds and says, "Here we go again, another mystery." But he says, "Don't worry about it, we'll get out of here." Simiyu says, "Wait, but they don't have chokers, how are you going to communicate with them?" Enjin says, "I know the perfect way." He then pulls out his vital instrument, and as the anime gives us lore about the history of his vital instrument, Enjin then hints at a special ability that it holds. He tells Simiyu I'll be the one that connects us all together. Just leave it up to me. She says, okay, I believe in you. She then informs him that the rest of the team is on the way. And also she says the boss of the cleaners has gotten information on all the weird stuff that's going on. As the scene ends, we move to the final scene of the anime. It's Zoyo, the head of the Raiders, and Rudo. Zordo says these trash storms happen only so often. He then says today is perfect because this trash beast we riding on can ride this storm. And as Zordo being Zordo, he tries to then manipulate Rudo. He says, I would prefer not to kill you because you know too much information about the spear. Continuing on, he says, I'm your ticket to the spear. But your cleaner friends, what can they do for you? Suddenly the anime pans to Rudo. He's hanging from a cliff. He looks like he's going through it. He seems anxious. Then we go back to Zordo. He's continuing with his mind games. He says, your cleaner friends, all they'll do is try to get in your way. He says, listen to me. Eliminate them while you can. After a while, Rudo finally responds. He points his glove at Zordo and gives him the lore on how he got the name of his gloves, 3R. It basically means to keep things and not waste them. He then tells him, he says, nothing's a waste. Trash, humans, none of it. He then starts to grill him. He says, and even meeting a person like you wasn't a waste. He continues and says, I found out I got something that you don't. Right as he says this, the anime flashes back to him and the cleaners having all their moments together. Afterwards, Rudo says, I got homies that care about me. Zordo then grows and furious. The camera pans back to Rudo. He says, my anger, my revenge, yeah, I still want to get that, but that's not enough for me. He suddenly drops from the cliff and he says, I hope you get what I'm saying now. He says, I want to be with my friends and comrades. That's my goal. And as he's falling fast towards the floor, Zordo then goes and chases him down. He catches up to him. He angrily tells him, he says, this decision you're making, you're going to regret it. It'll only bring you hate inside. Rudo claps back and says, hate? You the one that's getting more hate. Is it because of my team? Are you jealous? Zordo then falls for the rage bait. And he responds, he says, team? Where's your team now? And as soon as he says that, out of nowhere, Enjin pops out of the wall and he says, I'm right here. Oh, the mic drop. And that's how the anime ends.